Imagine a product so addictive that it redefined human behavior, sparking industries, cultures, and controversies around the globe. A product so lethal that it claims millions of lives every year, yet so profitable that empires were built upon its smoke. This is the story of Big Tobacco, an industry whose power, deception, and dark history leave an indelible mark on the fabric of society. And it all begins with a leaf. The tobacco plant was once a sacred offering, revered by indigenous peoples in the Americas for its ceremonial and medicinal uses. To them, it was a gift from the gods, a connection to the divine. But when European colonizers arrived in the New World, they saw something else entirely: an opportunity. By the early 1600s, tobacco had become the brown gold of the colonies, its cultivation fueling the economies of Virginia and Maryland. It was the crop that built America, but its cultivation came at a terrible cost. The sprawling tobacco plantations of the American South were worked by enslaved Africans, forced to labor under brutal conditions to meet the insatiable demand for the crop. By the 18th century, tobacco exports were booming, enriching landowners and merchants alike. The wealth generated by tobacco fueled the transatlantic slave trade, creating a cycle of exploitation and oppression that would echo through the centuries. Even in its infancy, the tobacco industry was rooted in suffering. Fast forward to the late 19th century, and the world of tobacco is undergoing a revolution. Enter James Buchanan Duke, the man who would come to be known as the father of Big Tobacco. Duke was not just a businessman, he was a visionary. Using newly invented cigarette rolling machines, he transformed cigarettes from a luxury item into a mass-produced commodity. His company, the American Tobacco Company, quickly monopolized the industry, crushing competitors and creating one of the first corporate giants in American history. Duke's empire was built on aggressive marketing, relentless expansion, and a product designed to keep consumers coming back for more. But what made cigarettes so addictive? The answer lies in nicotine, a naturally occurring chemical in tobacco that acts as both a stimulant and a sedative. By the mid-20th century, scientists had confirmed what smokers had long suspected: nicotine was highly addictive, and Big Tobacco knew it. Internal documents from major tobacco companies, later uncovered during lawsuits, revealed that they had been aware of nicotine's addictive properties for decades. Not only that, but they had actively manipulated the levels of nicotine in their products to maximize addiction. They referred to nicotine as the kick that kept customers loyal. For them, addiction wasn't a side effect. It was the business model. The rise of cigarettes coincided with the golden age of advertising. Big Tobacco mastered the art of selling not just a product but an image. They hired Hollywood stars to glamorize smoking, placed ads in popular magazines, and even sent free cigarettes to soldiers during World War II, cementing their place in American culture. Smoking became a symbol of sophistication, rebellion, and even health. Yes, health. Early advertisements often featured doctors endorsing specific brands, claiming they were smoother or less irritating than others. It was a lie, but it worked. Behind the scenes, however, the reality was far grimmer. By the mid-20th century, evidence linking smoking to lung cancer and other diseases was mounting. In 1950, a groundbreaking study published in the British Medical Journal found a strong correlation between smoking and lung cancer. Big Tobacco's response? Deny, deny, deny. They launched a campaign of misinformation, funding their own research to sow doubt about the health risks of smoking. They hired scientists to dispute the findings and used their immense influence to suppress negative publicity. For decades, they were able to maintain the illusion that smoking was safe, all while millions of people were dying from tobacco-related illnesses. The tide began to turn in the 1990s. Whistleblowers from within the industry came forward, exposing the extent of Big Tobacco's deception. One of the most famous was Jeffrey Wigand, a former executive at Brown & Williamson, who revealed that the company had knowingly manipulated nicotine levels and added harmful chemicals to their cigarettes. His testimony became the basis for a landmark legal battle, and his story was later dramatized in the film The Insider. Wiegand's revelations, combined with the release of thousands of internal documents, painted a damning picture of an industry that had prioritized profits over human lives. In 1998, Big Tobacco faced its biggest reckoning yet, the Master Settlement Agreement. This historic legal settlement between the 4 largest tobacco companies and 46 U.S. states required the industry to pay billions of dollars in damages and fund anti-smoking campaigns. It also imposed strict restrictions on advertising, banning the use of cartoon characters like Joe Camel that had been used to target children. But even as Big Tobacco was forced to change its tactics, it found new ways to thrive. With smoking rates declining in the United States, tobacco companies turned their attention overseas. They aggressively expanded into developing countries, where regulations were weaker and public awareness of the health risks was lower. In many parts of Asia, Africa, and South America, smoking rates have skyrocketed, creating a new generation of addicted consumers. Today, Big Tobacco's profits are higher than ever, even as its reputation remains tarnished. And then came the next evolution: vaping. Promoted as a safer alternative to smoking, e-cigarettes quickly gained popularity, particularly among young people. Companies like Juul positioned themselves as disruptors, offering sleek devices and enticing flavors. But the promise of a healthier alternative soon came under scrutiny. Studies found that many e-cigarettes contained high levels of nicotine, and there were growing concerns about their long-term health effects. Once again, Big Tobacco found itself at the center of controversy, accused of using the same tactics to hook a new generation on nicotine. The dark history of Big Tobacco is a cautionary tale of greed, deception, and the devastating consequences of prioritizing profits over people. It's a story that continues to unfold as the industry adapts to new challenges and seeks out new markets. And it's a reminder that the fight against Big Tobacco is far from over. If you found this story eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the hidden histories that shape our world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.